Hello and welcome back to another video. Here's the cow, the kangaroo cow. Hi! So, today I will react to the video What's the Dumbest Thing in America Has Ever Said to You, part 3, Hot TikTok 2021. And, a moment, here's the cow. Subscribe for the cow. And yeah, I'm moving right now from one city to the other city, so there will not be too much videos, but I will upload them a week later or so than when I record them right now. So there's every few days a video and not a break of 2 weeks or so. So yeah, I will react to this right now, but I will say in advance that I also don't know a lot of things. So I don't blame the Americans for not knowing anything or everything. I just maybe blame them a bit for being a bit ignorant, but also I don't know much, and it took a while until I knew about many places of the world, so I cannot really blame them so much. But yeah, with some things it is very stupid, but some other things are just you cannot know everything. So asking is important, but some people are very people who think that America is the whole world and there is no other countries. At least this was one of the things in the first part of this videos, and this was ridiculous, of course, kind of stupid. But yeah, so let's see. I will say for every part, everything, but they say how much I think it is stupid, and or it is just you can't know everything. So let's do this. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you are subscribed. Please subscribe to my channel and support me through this. It would mean a lot to me. I want to reach 25 or so subscribers in the next time when possible. It's just a small click you have to do, and you can always make this click again and then unsubscribe. But that's something else. Okay, enough of this. Without further ado, let's watch the video.
I'm kind of curious, what is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
Okay, so just recently while the elections were happening, I had a girl ask me if I was voting for Biden or for Trump. I said
no. Before the election of Trump and or Clinton, this was even an election before that. I also knew a girl, exchange student from America, I think, when I was still at school. It was a few years ago, so. But she said that if Trump would win, she would leave the United States. I don't know if she did. I've never seen her again, but yeah, it's just just some random story.
neither, I'm in Australia, and she said it doesn't matter, every vote counts.
Yeah, it's of course kind of stupid to see that also Australian or other country people or other people would vote. That's of course kind of stupid.
I had to explain to her that it's just her country voting, not the whole world.
What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
I mean, if the whole world would vote, then also, at least about Germany, I think Clinton would have won the election. People were here surprised that Trump won. Probably also in the United States, but here the people were thinking that Trump had no real chance. I think in America the opinions were a bit different because they're more close to it's their country voting. So why is the United States voting for Trump? So many support here for Clinton. Yeah, because not Germany is voting, but the United States. I mean, also some Germans are stupid sometimes, and I wrote this time in the media always oh, why has Trump won the election? Because probably more Americans voted for him. Yeah. In the statistics, it was always Clinton which lays ahead, but statistics can lie and often lie, so it's not a big surprise. But for some people here, it was a big surprise, and then yeah. Anyway, I continue.
So when I was like 20, I studied in Kyoto, Japan for like 6 months. And during that time, I got a job in an Irish pub because, of course, I did. And one day, this American man comes in, he's like in his 40s, and whenever he hears my accent, he starts delivering this speech to everyone about how much he thinks he knows about Ireland. So here's me thinking I'm being friendly, and I was like, oh yeah, I can see why you would think this thing, but it's actually more like this. And he's like, well, you wouldn't really know because you're not really Irish. You're black Irish. I was like, I don't even know what the fuck that means, but anyway, yeah, I'm Irish. And he's like, no, I have a great grandmother from Ireland, and that's why I'm really Irish. You don't even look like one. And I was like, nah, I was not about to lose my nice job over this man, so I was just like, and give him his gin and tonic. But he was so angry and so livid that I claimed to be Irish that he brought his co-worker in the next day to test if I was Irish or not. Me and the co-worker turned out we were from the same town, and he was like, yeah, she's Irish, and he was so pissed off!
Of course. Not so good for him. I mean, of course, he's racist. He has some racism in his takes, but when even his friend or coworker then is on her side, it's really not a good day for him, I think. But still, an idiot, of course. So, but I heard this from other people or in other videos like this too, that Americans are very confident about what they think, and even tell them people which are from the countries, as in this case, about how it works in their country, just like they know it better, which they of course don't do in the most cases. In the cases I have heard of. Interesting, yeah.
What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
I think I might make a series out of this, but this is the first thing that comes to my mind every time someone asks me a question like this. So, in 2015, I moved to the US, and I was a junior in high school at the time, and I was talking to some girls, and they were like asking me questions about Greece. These girls were seniors in high school, and this one girl goes, after I said something about school in Greece and how different it is from school in the US, she goes, oh my god, it's so weird. I feel like you're like from a whole another country.
Yeah, Greece is a different country than the United States. You have learned something, that's good.
Because I am? And that was when I realized that education in the US is a scam.
I'm kind of curious. What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
So I was in San Diego last year. I was at a service station, just filling up the car with petrol. And I go up to the cashier and I'm like, oh yeah, just the petrol, thanks, mate. And he goes, oh shit, is that an accent? Where are you from? I'm just from Australia. Oh wow, that's like a really long way away. So did you fly here or did you drive here?
I mean, technically, you could drive on a big ship with your car, and then take the ship to the United States, and then drive again. Or you could just drive in a circle around on the big ship the whole time while you are on the travel. But I mean, I don't know if there would be enough gasoline and benzene, enough I don't know how you name it in your country, but like gasoline or benzene in my country. But yeah, it would definitely be a challenge to drive there, unless you have also a long bridge. I mean, you could I heard about a project to build a bridge over the Bering Strait between Russia and Alaska. So theoretically, maybe you could. But Australia is of course very. I mean, maybe you could build bridges from all the little islands in Indonesia, from Papua New Guinea, to Australia. But I don't think it would be feasible. So I think it would be very difficult to drive to the United States from Australia. Maybe at a future point of time, but not currently.
A flu? Yeah, it's probably a little bit too far to drive, isn't it? I think about this all the time.
He looks, in this moment, he looks like he has some pain with his teeth. He's holding his head at his cheek, like at the dentist. I imagine how he thinks about what he has just heard.
Bloody time. Like a howdy? What?
What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
So I am from Italy, but I have lived and worked in the United States for a while. One day this guy comes up to me and he's like, how do you become a mafia member? And I'm like, a mafia member? What? I was like, yeah, is there like an interview to do? Is there like someone you go to apply? And I'm like, what? Apply in the mafia? This man. Grown ass man thought being in the mafia was just a regular job, just like being an assistant or a teacher or a doctor. Do you really think we have mafia universities here in Italy? Or do we just show up at the mafia boss being like, yo, dude, I want to work for you? And he's like, yeah, sure, let's go kill some people. Hello!
I'm kind
It's insane.
of curious. What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
I mean, no shade to Americans because
Exactly. Nothing in general against Americans. I also say a lot of dumb things and also don't know everything. I give my best to learn. But I don't know everything. So nothing in general against Americans. It's just a funny compilation of clips. And maybe in general, people they have schools they have a bigger problem with education. Or I mean, this kind of trends can exist, but I'm not the one to blame anyone. I'm just a normal German student, so I was a student. I'm a normal German man, so I also don't know everything. So yeah.
I do dumb shit all the time. But I once had a lady comment on a post when I said, "Thank God it's Friday," and she said, "It's Thursday, hun." And I said, "No, in Australia it's Friday." And then she accused me of gaslighting her, to which I answered, "I'm going to blow your mind when I tell you that it's actually summer in Australia too, while you're in winter." And then she called me a terrorist.
That's insane. Some Americans. Oh yeah, that's against Americans in general, but some US Americans to be precisely, think that they're at the center of the world, and then it's very funny to talk to them. Or I watched just videos in which this happens, so it's funny.
I'm kind of curious. What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
Okay, so true story. When I was a teenager, I was in Arizona visiting my best friend who lived out there, and I was there for the summer. And we met this girl, and she complimented my top, and she was like, "Oh, I really like your top. Where'd you get it?" And I was like, "Singapore." She goes, "Oh, is that a mall?" And I look at her, and I was like, "No, it's in Asia." And I kid you not, she goes, "Is Asia a mall?"
I mean, I saw a reaction where a reaction guy was saying that maybe Singapore you could think it's a mall. It's not a big country, so maybe you don't know about it. But when she then said Singapore is in Asia, and then she said that Asia is a mall, then that's a bit stupid. That's far too stupid. You should have heard of Asia. It's a continent, so you should heard this. But maybe you don't know about all the countries in Asia, and Singapore is one of the smallest. So I could see this happening, that you also ask if this is a mall. But with Asia, it gets very dumb.
I'm kind of curious. What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
So first of all, I think I could probably make an entire series on this because I've been in America for a while.
I like always when they say, "Oh, I have a lot of things I could say here."
And I've heard some pretty crazy things. When I went to high school, I went to boarding school in Utah, and on the first day we were in class, and the teacher came in and went through roll, and as the teacher was going through roll, they told us that if you come from a country where English is not your first language, I'm going to write your name down, and you're not going to get graded as harshly because we don't think it's fair. I'm thinking, wow, that's like really good for them, especially a couple of these students. They're struggling to speak English in the time that I've met them and talking to them. So he gets to me finally on the roll, and he says, "Bailey." I said, "Yes, here. I'm from Australia." And he goes, "Ah, Australia." And he turns around and writes my name down. I'm thinking, what's going on? Everyone starts kind of talking around. I'm like, shut up. I went in with a 2.9 GPA my junior year. I graduated with a 4.0.
What is the dumbest thing an American
4.0 is this now good or bad? Because in Germany, 4.0 is just minimum pass, so just a bit about passing. In the United States, maybe different, a different system of counting or scoring. So, tell me if you're from the United States how it works.
has ever said to you?
Oh, I love your Chinese accent. I'm French, born and raised.
Also funny.
What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
There was a similar thing in one of the other videos where a native or a Russian girl from not from the Eurasian part, from the Asian part, was talking and I mean, sometimes you don't look very much like the stereotype of a country, and then it's very funny, I think.
Okay, so I tell this story like all the fucking time. But basically, I'm from Spain, which is in Europe, for those that don't.
It's just something out of the content, but if they are talking about, fucking, or that's fucking awesome, or whatsoever, when it's funny about the United States, they always make them the stars. I mean, it's okay, it's their culture, but it's very funny. That's one of the strangest things about the United States, about the culture, which I don't understand, but, well, I'm not from there, so I don't have to understand everything, it's just funny. Out of the content. Let's continue.
No. And my senior year of high school, I was a foreign exchange student in Vegas, in Nevada, and I was in my math class, and this girl that was like white, blue eyes, blonde hair, and she comes to me, she's like, she says something like, is there a lot of people that look like me in Spain? So I said, yeah, most people look like me, but there are some people that look like you because you was blonde, blue eyes, like you said. And she was like, yeah, because you guys are not white or some shit like that. And I was like, I am white, like...
That's another thing which I don't understand about Americans, United States Americans, that they think that some people which are clearly white as her are not white. I mean, the color doesn't fucking matter, so... It's not important for anything, in my opinion. Color is nothing, it's not important. But yeah, they have their own kind of right, which when where they accept someone is white or say also that someone is white, it's weird, but it doesn't matter because the color in general doesn't matter. So who cares?
Hello, and she was like, yeah, but not really white. But there's some white people because you guys were colonized, and I was like.
It's also funny. It's very funny.
Like, honey, we are the colonizers.
I'm kind of curious. What is the dumbest
There's
thing?
nothing to be proud of. So no one should be proud on living in a country which colonized in the past other countries. But it's clearly the way it is, and yeah, that's dumb to think the opposite.
An American has ever said to you?
So I live in Cancun, Mexico, and I've been working with American tourism for around 6 years now. And there was this time when a guy in his 40s came to the resort I was working in. It was his first time in Mexico, and he told me he wanted to book some tours. So I started writing down all the tours he wanted to do. He told me he wanted to visit Chichen Itza, Tulum, and Machu Picchu. So I stopped writing and told him Machu Picchu was not in Mexico, it was in Peru. And he asked me how much would it take to get there in a taxi. I told him it would take around from 5 to 6 hours by plane, and he was so mad. He began complaining that how come if we also had Mayan ruins, no one told him Machu Picchu was not here.
What is the dumbest thing an American has?
Yeah, then just take the plane. I mean, I think you can very easily travel from Mexico to Peru with the plane. So yeah.
Has ever said to you?
Okay, so this is when I was working in a bar in Edinburgh many years ago, and this guy kept on saying, this American dude was in, and he was like, you're not Scottish. You're not, well, he didn't say Scottish, he said Scotch. You're not Scotch, I'm a Scotch American, because my last name I saw on a clan map. And so that's how I know where my clan comes from. I've never seen your name on a clan map. I was born at the fucking Inverness General Hospital, you be dead.
What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said?
And I say that this is confidence, which some Americans say that they know things better than people which come from the countries about they talk. It's always funny.
Said to you?
So I was raised in Australia and I moved to the US when I was almost 11 years old. And in 8th grade, this girl asked me like, oh, where is Australia? And I was like, oh, like America's here, Australia is here. Like they're two separate continents, two separate countries. And she was like, oh, but like, where is Australia? And I was like, America's here, Australia's here. And she was like, but like, where in America is Australia? And I was like,
Maybe also the other person earlier thought that Australia is a part of the United States. Because I somehow think that the United States is everything. I mean, I don't know how you can be that stupid. But, I mean, no offense, but that's very weird.
it's not in America, it's a different country, a different continent. Like, America's here, Australia's here. And she was like, but like, what state is it in? Like, is that like a city or a state? And I was like, it's neither, it's a different country. And she was like, but like, America's the whole world. And I was like, no, baby girl, it's not.
I mean, Brazil is even larger than the United States when you just consider the continental part of the United States and not Alaska. So even Brazil is bigger. And there are other countries which are nearly the same size as China. And Russia, of course, it is much bigger. But yeah, it's funny when people think that the US is the whole world.
She really thought that America was the whole world and that Australia was in America, and like, the US education system sucks, so they're all fucking idiots.
I can't tell anything about this. I can't tell anything about the United States education system sucks. I heard this also from other people, but I can't tell anything about this because I have never been in the American school, so it's just interesting. It's just funny. It's just I don't mean any offense. So if you want to correct me with anything I said, do it in the comments. Suggest to me also other videos you might want me to react to, and yeah, we'll see each other again in the next video.